in terms of your learning and experience, how you are treated by the external stakeholders of the organization, be it campus placement officers, or be it the different organizations you tied up with. Say, for example, assessment center we tie up with is Aspiring Mind. So connecting with Aspiring Mind, dealing with them, doing the vendor management and the related stakeholder management used to be an important activity for all of us. In the current role at Schneider, I look after two businesses which are mostly into sales and marketing and operations, and I manage close to around 4,000 of the workforce. Uh, I used to manage close to around 4,000 workforce at Wipro. Currently, I manage just around 400. So it is just a number. It is just a number to say that 4,000 or 400. It is more focused, more dependent upon the complexity of the business which you manage. So the current role, if you understand, of a HRBP or a HR generalist is more into stakeholder management. So your biggest stakeholder remains the business, right? Your employees and your leaders. Your next set of stakeholders pertain to the COEs or the center of excellences which we have. We have COEs like that of learning. We have COE of talent acquisition. We have COE of HRSS, which is the backend support which we get from the backend team, and also the COE of learning and development, as well as talent management. So these are 5 or 6 basic COEs which you will find across all the organizations. So HRBP is the front face of all these COEs, right? So we receive all the bricks and the bouquets too from the employee. So more of a bricks, I would say, which we keep on receiving, because you are responsible for everything. You drive everything, and then you have to face the brunt of the employee and the leaders as well. For the COEs, you are just a stakeholder, but for me, the COE is not just like a stakeholder. These are the people whom, with their help, I have to get things done, right? So I have to follow up with them. I have to keep on pushing them to, say, for example, if I have a need for organizing a learning and development program for my team, so I have to sit along with the learning and development team. I have to tell them to capture the needs for the business for this year. So once they capture it, then we implement a plan, and then we see how much is the cost for this program, and that's how we proceed. Similarly, a talent management SPOC for us helps me to identify and run the talent management programs for my talent of the employee. So there are multiple ways through which you evaluate who is a talent for you. It can be based on rating. It can be the basis of the talent review, right? So which box employee is getting placed in. We have to do a certain sort of activity for the employee. Apart from that, there are multiple programs to engage the young talent or the early career for us. We do that. There are multiple ways by which we engage the women or the gender diversity candidates for the employees. So for the organization. So why I'm focusing a lot on gender diversity and early career is that in the present scenario, a lot of focus and push remains on hiring, engaging gender diversity talent, which is women and early career. So we define early careers as people who are under the age of 30, 32, right? That is the generic definition of early careers across organizations. Women talent, as you all understand, though we say it as diversity candidates, but under diversity, in Indian context, it is mostly women, right? So for us as an organization, the mandate is that we have to hire. Last year, the mandate was that we have to hire 40% of the total hire have to be women. For us, the mandate for hiring early careers was that 70% of your total hires have to be under the age of 30. And this was across bands, with the only exception being that only at the senior most levels, at the leadership level and the middle management level, we are not supposed to hire people who are early career. So there are basic guidelines, do's and don'ts, which we have to follow even in terms of hiring. So my typical day in the organization is like, I have to connect with the stakeholders. I have to sort out the issues which pertain to employee relations, pertaining to employee health, pertaining to employee engagement, and the various HR activities. Now, to say what are the typical HR activities, so we start the year. For us, the year starts with workforce planning, right? So I hope everyone understands what is workforce planning. It is simply the activity of saying how much workforce do you need for the year, how much was it for last year, how much has been the change, what is the cost addition, what is the cost reduction which we are going to face due to workforce. And I as a HRBP, I have to ensure that the business adheres to the workforce planning targets which are given to them, right? So our mandate is that we have to make them adhere. So R is more of a controlling aspect, that we have to control in case there is any overspill. Now it also means that I have to ensure that the productivity of the business or the revenue of the business or the profitability of the business is not impacted. So I have to maintain a fine balance between maintaining the revenue productivity of the business as well as ensuring that it doesn't overrun the cost. So that's what workforce planning is. Once we decide the workforce planning, how much is the manpower need, is it increasing, decreasing, then we start with the talent acquisition activity. So all these activities run in parallel. It is not like one ends and the other one starts. It is not like a train and or engine one after two. It all runs parallelly. So that's why maintaining the fine balance gets a lot more difficult while doing that. The third activity which comes to us is, as I said, learning and development. We start with a discussion between the business leader and his N-1s, people who are reporting to the business leaders, the people managers, and we promote a discussion, an open discussion individually with each of the leader, saying that what do they think is the learning need for their respective team. It can be behavioral, it can be technical, it can be a mix of both, right? It can be related to talent management as well. So when I say talent management, these are basically behavioral trainings which pertain to organization development, which pertain to developing a leader to take up a next role. So it would be giving exposure to someone, assigning a mentor, assigning a coach to a upcoming manager, so as to groom him or her to take up the next role. This is pertaining to talent management. Uh, Lastly, the COE which comes in, which is one of the most important one. In fact, I won't say that any COE is in any way less important or more important, is of rewards or compensation and benefits. So this is the team which helps us, especially in the processes of promotion, in the process of salary hikes or increments. We call it as global salary review, GSR. So this is also once or twice done in the organization based on the budgets, that we decide that how many people, what is the annual budget which is going to come up. On an average, it ranges from 7 to 10%, right? When we say that this is the increment which is to be given to these people, and accordingly, based on the rating, based on the feedback of managers, we start giving the increments to the person, so to an employee. So this is in conjunction with the performance appraisal. So we combine the increment cycle with the performance appraisal cycle. So for example, for us, the year is of calendar year, so we start in the month of January, we end in the month of December, and in the subsequent year, in the month of January mid till February end, we close the performance appraisal and the GSR cycle. So that's how we involve the rewards team with us. In addition to it, there's also a promotion cycle, wherein again the process has to be led by the HR business partner, but on the back end it has to be supported with the rewards compensation team. Lastly, I would say the backbone of the whole HR process is the HRSS team. So HRSS is HR Shared Services. Now these are the people who help us with all the reports, with all the transactional work which gets generated. So there are a lot of transactions which generate in the mid that happens for us, and for that we always need a support of one or two people who help us with all these activities, be it the printing of letters, be it giving out the transfer letters or increment letters. All these things are taken care of by the HR Shared Services. So that's how a typical day or a typical year for me is like. Now coming to the last point, which is more towards focusing on what is the current scenario, how things are proceeding in the COVID scenario. Now things are not so rosy as of now, right? You might have read about a lot of job losses, a lot of job cuts which have happened, a lot of optimizations which are taking place. But now this is something which has been exacerbated with the COVID scenario. It is not something which has not happened in the past. So we have seen things like the job cuts taking place even in past year, right? That we have also observed. So, but this year, the important thing is that the impact is much more. The impact is much more. We are seeing many of the people being relieved of their duties, but as of now, the focus is more on relieving people or exiting people who have not performed or fared well in the last year. That's how things are. We have certainly exited a lot of such people, but then the focus remains to engage all the employees. not to let out the negativity percolate throughout the minds of all the employees, thinking that the organization is unable to do anything, and then we are being asked to leave. Nothing of that sort is happening. The people who are really in real danger are the people who possibly in IT companies who are on bench, people who have not been able to upscale themselves. They are in the danger zone, and a lot of that has taken place in the IT industry, in the non-IT industry as well. But what we are focusing upon is to engage with the employees. So right now in the COVID scenario, because we all have been working from home, the expectation of the organization and the HR leadership had been that we should be able to engage with the employees. We should be able to sustain and retain the right talent, which has been identified by the organization. So and also we should be able to support the employee. So when I say support in terms of, if the employee has to move from one location to other, if the employee is working out of living in a containment zone, then we should not be focusing up. We should be focusing more on towards the safety of the employees, rather than telling him or her to come to the office or go to the market for doing sales. So the priority of the organization remains is that safety and security is the most important thing. Business is always secondary. For the young graduates, I would say the most important thing right now is not to lose hope. This is just cyclical. Things would just go. Things would just go past, and it is just a matter of 4 to 6 months before the revival starts to take place. Even if you see that if tomorrow, if you find that the news, less negative news has started coming to the market, the companies would all go in the self revival mode. And when you say self revival mode, that means a lot of jobs would again get created, which have been downsized sort of till now. But a lot of jobs are upcoming also. So you have few of the industries like that of e-commerce and others, pharma, healthcare, in which there is again a lot of requirement to hire people. So all the things are cyclical. It happens. I believe I myself experienced that it is happening every 10, 12 years. So in 99, 2000, you had the dot-com boom. 2008-9, you had the Lehman Brothers and the US meltdown. And again in 2020, we have the COVID situation. So it is just a matter of time. People should not be losing hope and should be, but the important part and for you all is to keep yourself ready, is to keep yourself abreast, not to change your career plans immediately, thinking that, okay, now I won't be able to do anything, I should start doing this, I should start doing that. Please stick to what your specialty or specialization is. Please ensure that your interest never wanes out on what you have been focusing upon. Right. So that is it from my side. I believe the Q&A you can put up at the end of session. That is it. Mr. Saim, Professor Saim, you can take it ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Farhan. It was very nice listening to you. Now, I would like to take this session further. And first, I would like to introduce my co-host of this session, Mr. Dr. Ajmal Wasim. Ajmal
Thank
Wasim, it's now on to you. Please introduce our next panelist to the students.
you. Okay, thank you, Time Bhai. Now I would like to invite Mohammad Salman Khan for this session. Mr. Khan is an alumnus of this university. He did his BCom and Master of Social Work from Department of Commerce and Social Work, respectively. He has an experience of handling recruitment process, including campus placements, uh, organizing training program, and so on. Mr. Salman was awarded for designing and implementing emergency response plan. He was promoted to HR business partner within 14 months of joining Amazon India. Currently, he is a business partner in Word e-commerce giant Amazon India. Actually, Salman, our student would like to know about the role of HRM during COVID-19 and what new strategies it has adopted during this period. So, Salman, over to you. You can start your session, please.
Yes, Ajmal bhai. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to everyone present on this call. Am I audible? First, I would like to know.
Yeah, you are audible. Please continue.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys, सबसे पहले I would like to introduce myself. I am an alumnus, as Ajmal bhai told you, of commerce faculty. Not only commerce faculty. I am seeing the questions. I'll definitely shed some job prospects in the West, I cannot, but definitely in the East and mostly in India, I can. So I'll cover that part. Yeah. So I did my my plus two also from Aligarh Muslim University. I did it, then my graduation from there, and then master in social work I completed in 2015. Uh, I spent almost 8 years in Aligarh. I have lived in hostels. Saim Bhai and Ajmal Bhai both were my senior there. And when Saim Bhai told me about this session, pre-COVID era, in the pre-COVID era, now that these terminologies have come to our uses. So I was very much excited and happy to actually come to our department and help you guys, especially people. There is a course of specialization in HR in uh, commerce faculty. So I was very much eager and happy to do that. uh, but as this catastrophe dawned upon us and we were not able to do anything in the real world, now everything is going virtual. So now we are here on this call. So as I'll start from 2015. I I completed my masters from there, and while I am giving my my brief introduction, I'll cover the aspects of HR within those companies. And from there, in Master of Social Work only, I got placed fortunately in a company based in Moradabad. I think most of the people in actually at least Aligarh know that company, Mark Impacts. Some people might be laughing. Some people might have heard this name seriously. So this is basically a hard goods manufacturing company. Moradabad is famous for hard goods manufacturing. And when I say hard goods, I mean uh, decorative items, designer furnitures, and utensils, of course. So I was placed in this company as an HR executive. I joined there in 2015.
आज से घूमे हम आ रहे हैं मैं और गोलू
So after joining that company, I spent there 1 year and 10 months. And in that 1 year of 10 months, 10 months, that 1 year, 10 month was a stint, was a learning experience for me in terms of handling and working as an HR. How does HR operate on a shop floor? And when I say shop floor, it means area in a company, a place in a company where manufacturing takes place, where the actual physical works takes place. So it helped me to understand the role of HR in a shop floor scenario in a manufacturing company. So I'll start from what I was handling there. So when as a fresher, when I joined that company, so basically that company has a lot of workforce, and workforce means the workforce which is involved in unskilled labor. Workforce that is involved in unskilled labor, like painting, like there is this work was the polishing, and a n number of activities were there. So my job primarily was to handle those people. And how does I handle them? I used to involve in their daily attendance. I was involved in their daily leave queries, their salary queries, and then at the end of the month, helping the payroll team with their attendance inputs to get their salary process. This was the initial piece of work which I started working off. And slowly and gradually, I started visiting the campuses with the uh, HR general manager there, who was at that time in Mark Impacts. And there, from there on, the learning curve grows and grows on. So in that stint of 1.5 years, more than 1.5 years, I basically learned what is the role of HR when it comes to shop floor. And I think the most important part is the employee engagement part, which I am sure you people must have read a lot in your books. And employee engagement involves not just designing or doing some activities for some fun activities or other things for people, but it also involves how do you want people in your organization to stay, sustain, and grow. So it was a lot of my part in Mark Impacts was spent in these areas. Then there were some training programs which I used to design and coordinate for different departments, different functions. And then fortunately from there, I was selected as an HR assistant for Amazon India. So before beginning my experience of Amazon India, I would like to just give you a slight brief what is in which part of which company of Amazon I work for. So basically Amazon India is like an umbrella. It has a variety of companies under its name. I work for Amazon Transportation Services Private Limited. So this company basically handles the India operations. And when I say India operations, it's as simple as that. You guys, I'm sure you people most of you people have used Amazon app and must have shopped there. So the moment you select any product on your app and you click on buy it and then you make the payment or whatever cash delivery option you choose. So the moment you choose a product to get delivered to you, uh, an array of Amazon India operations comes into action. That that whole operations is called the Amazon India operations team. It usually involves three levels. One is warehousing, which in Amazon terminology we call first mile. Then there is logistics, which in Amazon terminology we call middle mile. And there is the delivery of product to the customer, that is in Amazon terminology we call last mile. So I work for middle mile, the logistics part of Amazon. We have at 23 logistics center in India, big, small, all pertaining to the needs of those areas. I joined in Delhi. We have one sort center. We call these logistics center sort centers. So basically the work which takes place there is the sorting of shipments. We get shipments for number of places. We do the sortings there for certain destinations. And this whole process is called, whole building is called sort center building. So we have 23 such buildings in India. I joined the team of North India, North HR team, which has seven such buildings right now, three in Delhi NCR area and two in Lucknow, one in Ludhiana, one in Jaipur. This whole comprises of the North team. And in Amazon, when I joined Amazon, my role was of HR generalist, and I would like to start. Also, I would like to have some questions coming in for these things. If you people anywhere feel that you have a question, feel very free to ask me the question. You can interrupt me in between when I am speaking. Do not feel any type of hesitation in that. I will be very happy to answer you all those things. I don't have a big list of my introduction and very big list of my work activities to explain here, because I think that would not be very much relevant to your experience. So I would also like you people to ask me direct questions here on this call only. So in Amazon India, my work includes I'm an HR business partner for a business building called Sort Center Building. I'm based out of Sonipat. I also look after the Delhi Sort Center Building. Both comes under my responsibility. And therein we have a HR journalist kind of role. We have both kinds of employee, managerial level, team lead level, lower level management, and also the workers whom we call associates. Anybody have any question till here? Anything which you would like me to focus upon while I cover this part? Please ask the question. I'm just requesting the students on this call.
Students are
This
very
will definitely be a gainful experience.
Salman. Okay,
Yes,
there's a question. Can you tell us
I
something about
cannot see it.
talent?
Maybe.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I cannot see the question. Can you please?
Uh,
Yeah, I can hear you.
can you tell us something about talent acquisition?
Okay, great. So as the name suggests, talent acquisition, it's basically a role of recruitment team. It basically involves the function of recruitment within HR. Talent acquisition is, you can say, it is a different name given to the recruitment part of HR. And it usually starts from searching for the right candidates. So when you work at the starting in talent acquisition, usually what role the freshers do get is they get the number of open vacancies or the coming vacancies which will come in the next quarter or maybe half year. So they get the number of those lists and they start looking for those candidates. So every position have certain basic requirements, certain preferred requirements, and certain set of skill set which is required with that position. Talent acquisition starts looking for the right candidate, then coordinating with those candidates with the people who have asked for such candidates. It's like you are connecting a demand and supply in the market. You actually goes into the market. You search for certain characteristics which you are looking for. You when you see such prospects, you connect with those people. You kind of take a very baseline interview or baseline interaction you do with those people, and basis on your judgment and your understanding, you create a pool which you present in front of the people who have asked for for these roles or these prospects. This is what a talent acquisition team is like. At the higher level, it involves a lot of planning. And when I say planning, it tries to look at the forecast. It tries to look at it tries to visualize what is coming in the future, the current market trends, what is going on in the market in terms of uh, what is going on in market in terms of talent, how where the talent is flowing, in which direction people are right now more bended towards. It involves a lot of these things in talent acquisition. What am I able to answer your question?
We I hadn't got any reply from him. Well, anyhow, you can continue with like some career prospects. What career options
Yeah,
students have, and what career advice
yeah.
you are
So
giving.
guys, yeah, sure. So guys, I'll start. Why I was asking you to ask me questions was the reason was that I wanted to know what kind of curiosities you people are having in terms of your course and in terms of your degree and these COVID times. So I'll not cover the COVID times with my initial talks, but if you have a question related to these things, I'll try to answer that. Uh, so basically, I'll start with how does an HR generalist role, which I am handling right now, could be achieved, or what are the opportunity areas in this field. So right now, I'll start with this thing. So basically, HR's role is mostly of a facilitator in the organization. It's not it's not a technical role. It's not something. It's kind of a facilitator role. And when I say facilitator, we like to create our responsibilities include to create such environment in the organization where all the mechanism of the organization flows in works in accordance with each other, and they complement each other, and everything in the business goes smoothly over the turmoils. This is what the role of an HR is. And there are different set of areas where you can specialize in HR. So when one such thing which I just spoke about, talent acquisition, then there is HR generalist role, which do not specializes in any such thing, but it includes an different array of activities inside one building or one organization. For example, an HR journalist also looks for the recruitment, then also looks for the employee engagement part, also looks for the ER part, employee relations part. So an HR journalist looks after all such things. Another important aspect, important for function in specialization in HR is the ER part. So employee relations, why it is important? Uh, I hope many of you people must have heard about severe incidents of uh, uh, violence in the companies wherein the workers goes on strike or do something very dangerous for the company, physically dangerous. So all such things are usually catered by the ER teams. Every big organization try to maintain ER teams within their uh, organization. These employee relations team works on the grounds, tries to put mechanisms on floor. And what kind of mechanisms do they put? They try to understand the pain points where the workers, especially the workers. So today HR role is mostly covered by the by the worker population, which is usually called associate level employees in the in the companies, in the manufacturing sector, in the e-commerce sector, these companies are hiring a number of employees. Like in Amazon only, we have 12,000 plus employees in my organization who are working on contractual basis and are doing daily unskilled type of activities, which involves loading, unloading, which involves doing sortation for the shipments and other such related activities on shop floor. So the major portion of success, which I believe lies in handling and involving yourself with this manpower. And when we involve ourselves with this manpower, it involves hiring these people. We at Amazon are based upon different manpower contractors who do the hiring for these people, then the payroll processing of these employees. When you, at the end of the month, the HR actually has the responsibility to present the number of the attendance inputs of these employees and get their salaries processed. And then ER team, which I was discussing, kind of looks after uh, the status of our processes which we have imbibed into the organization, how these processes are working. Are these helping the employees, or are they just creating some kind of turmoil on the floor where people are not able to connect with each other? So ER team basically covers all such aspects. It tries to then there is a compliance part in HR. So compliance part is basically, it requires a little bit knowledge of the legal side, the basic licenses which you require, the usual uh, government mandatory rules which have to be applied. All such things comes under the bucket of compliance team. In some organizations, they collaborate both ER and compliance team with each other. In some organizations, they keep these teams separate. Then there is employee engagement part. I would also like to introduce Urvashi to our discussion table first, because she and me and both are working in for the same organization. I think she might be feeling boring right now. It's been 45 minutes she has joined the call. So Saim bhai and Ajmal bhai, if you want to introduce Urvashi also to the panel, that would be great.
Dr. Ajmal, please introduce.
Uh, Thank you so much, Salman, for your informative lecture. Now I would like to invite and welcome Miss Urvashi Jindal. Jindal is an also alumnus of Department of Social Work. She has experience in conducting audit, safety drives, tracking of complete training, and so on. She has also experience of working with giants like Amazon and Vedanta. Currently, she is working as an HR business partner with Amazon India operations. Uh, Ms. Jindal, over to you.
So, first of all, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
So, yeah. First of all, thank you for calling us, or I should say, inviting us on such a big platform to help the students to make them understand what all HR is about, what HRBP used to do, what industry, how HR looks like, how HR has to look like in industry. So thank you so much for inviting us. Assalamu alaikum to all the students, to all the seniors. So so Salman has already given you the picture how HRBP works, how HR journalist works, and how Amazon operation looks like. But before moving to all this, I would like to give a small introduction. So myself, Urvashi, I studied. I did my graduation. I did my 12th from AMU. So very closely connected to this university. And in fact, I did my Masters of Social Work from AMU only in year 2015. And fortunately, from there, I got a very good placement, I should say. Means it was just a big achievement for me and for my family that I got placement with Vedanta, a big organization, a mining organization. So I think that was little bit different for us, just because we always have a thought that if we are in HR, that will going to work in a corporate role. No. So it was a big no. When I joined Vedanta, I go through my induction program. From there I came to know that yeah, um, HR is more about being connecting with people, that is shop floor people. So you have to join the mining. Okay. So from there I joined our world largest mines, that is Rampura Agucha mines. We called it as Ram. So that was situated near the Bhilwana, that is near Ajmer, just in mid of the Jaipur and Udaipur. So I start my career as a HR journalist, right? So I spent 3 years and 4 months working as a HR journalist, and later on, this HR journalist got a new term as HR VP and OSA. So like you understand what HR VP roles look like, what HR journalist role looks like. So what were the core competencies I go through this role was like employee engagement, what are the factory compliances, what were the mines compliances. I think the most focused topic was the contract labor compliances. I think whenever you guys go through this interview now, whenever with any of the organization, you most have to focus upon compliances and the laws. Please go through them. Please go through them very, very deeply, very nicely, because every interviewer have the expectations that being a fresher, you must be know about the compliances, because you guys go through, because before that interview you guys had gone through the examinations, has gone through the books, has gone through lot of laws, right? So the first and foremost I would request everyone go through the laws very deeply, very nicely, because this would be the most important part of your interviews, right? So from there I learned about uh, like payroll processing, what are the manpower planning, which Farhan Bhai has told in his uh, you know told in his conversation. So this was all about HR journalist role which I have handled. So what what I learned as a HR journalist in Vedanta, it's more about connecting the issues of the labor, right? What Salman said, like associates, labor. We guys need to be more connecting with them. We guys needs to understand them, because that is the on that only the health of the organization depends, right? So it was a different role. Being a fresher, it was really difficult. Make a good rapport with these people, how to make good connections with them. So but it was it
Urvashi,
but yeah.
Urvashi, Urvashi, I think we are getting a number of questions. Like they are very good questions I'm seeing on the screen. I sorry I was not able to see them early. So we should start taking these questions. We have less time
Yeah.
left. If Saim Bhai and Ajmal
So,
allows us.
so Salman, so team, this was all about the introduction. Let's take the questions. Yeah,
No,
team.
no, before taking up questions, Overshi, I would like to have your take on this like COVID-19 situation specifically, right? So we are having these HR students, many of them are in final year, and they are about to join the industry. So what are the prospects for these students? What do you guys suggest to them, that what should they do? What is your advice? Then we'll take up the questions one by one.
Okay. So Imran bhai, it's like I would not going to give a strong or a big paragraph over this.
No, no, not at
Like
all.
what I learned from Amazon's experiences, like uh, first of all, do not get panic, right? Do not get panic at all. just understand the situation, then react. Like when a person joins industry, like so if a person joins industry, he meets lot of people, he have to connect with lot of people, like right. So all what are the norms of COVID-19, they have to maintain that norms. These students will go through the policies and procedures, what industry what industry are working on. So I think that norms, what are the central policies, I think these when they got through these policies, these procedures, these norms, so they understand the situation, they will understand the situation, and they will definitely they will be successful in leading all these things. There is no success mantra that, yeah, if I tell this thing, they have to do this, and yeah, it like you will go through all those things. No, if our students join industry, they have to follow the norms, they understand the policies, they understand the procedures what industry is following. I think they will follow that, and they understand the things better, and they can go through this COVID-19. But the only thing they have to take care is, do not get panic at all. It's a current situation, and I think we have to be behave like more strong in this contingencies. We have to take care. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's your take on this. And actually, I want to like ask all of you, all three of you. So, what will be the kind of job situation after this all these things get over? Like after in 2-3 months, what would be the condition of jobs in specifically the area of HR if we are talking about? So, any idea on that?
Yeah. So, Saimai, I'll quickly cover on this part. Basically, see, now we have entered into the world of post-COVID era.
Yeah.
Social distancing I have seen, has become one of the major part of each and every policy in companies. And usually this is the norm in companies, that whatever you cannot define, put it in the bucket of HR. So this is usually falling into the bucket of HR, wherein the HR are also working to actually sensitize people and working to maintain social distancing. Also, simultaneously, all the hygiene and all these parts, although many companies have safety departments particularly for these things, but HR needs to play a very pivotal role in this basis. They are handling the people, they are the ones who hire these people, and they are the ones whom usually people tend to listen. So this has become very important part of the daily life, which is true for every aspect. Second, as far as career advice is concerned, I would like to call upon all the students who are present on this call. Okay, you are reading a wonderful subject. It has a wide array of opportunities, and it's just not related to those office jobs which you usually see in videos or in everyday activities. It involves a lot of planning, lot of hard work in terms of industries. When you people will go to bigger cities, and there you will enter the industries. So you will see the HR is majorly involved and very heavily involved in planning of manpower. And planning of manpower is very important aspect. You see that manpower is mostly, it is one of the key aspect which involves a lot of budget of the company. Whenever company works upon their budgets, they create a separate pool for the number of for the amount they are going to spend on people. So being an HR, you will be a part of those discussions. So it's a very big opportunity area, a very good subject you people are reading, and you should definitely focus upon these things. And when I say things, I mean particularly the HR domains like employee engagement, like ER. So you should be aware of what these things are. It should not come to like an alien word. Okay, I have never heard about ER. I have never heard what employee engagement is. So you people should be aware at least. Nobody will expect you people should have a very practical and pragmatic knowledge of these things because you are a fresher. But when you will enter in an interview, the person might ask you, okay, since you have done a specialization in HR, what do you know about compliances? What HR compliances are? What sort of ER policies do company usually follow? what are the practices which are prevalent, some case studies which are available on internet. You can read those things on ER and HR compliances or at a HR generalist role. The people will ask you the questions and will test your textbook knowledge at that point of time when you will give the interview. Mostly they will test your textbook knowledge, and slightly they will judge you through they might give you certain situation based questions. Okay, this is the scenario, how would you react? So usually what happens, most of the time situation based questions are very difficult for the freshers. What we have to do in those times is, nobody expects a very clear cut 100 out of 100 answer from you. So you have to think from all aspect and try to answer as accurately as you can. Nobody expects okay, I am giving you a situation, there is a fight occurring on in the company, how will you react? So nobody is expecting okay, I'll find out the culprit like CID and I'll punish them. You have to give a very a two-folded answer. Okay, I'll understand everyone's point of view. I'll try to know what was the reason of the occurrence. I'm just giving an example. So when you people will face the interviews, the interviewer will first check your textbook knowledge, and textbook knowledge implies okay, this guy or this girl has actually paid attention to his course. He or she was serious while they were studying. And the second thing is situation based, which which the interviewer kind of takes the impression of okay, he not only he or she studied, he has some sort of judgment of his or her own, which would be further nurtured and would be helpful for the organization. So my career advice is you guys focus on these important areas. Try to get the in-depth knowledge, at least text knowledge. You should be aware okay, what these terms are and how these terms what does they mean when they are talked about in industries. And definitely the practical knowledge you will only gain when you will go into the field.
Okay, Salman. So that means that we still kind of have scope for our students as far as your HR area is concerned, right? Again, so now I would like to take up some questions from the students. Farhan bhai, you there? Uh, this one is up to you. There's one
I'm
question.
seeing some questions on the screen. So there is
Yeah,
a very good question. What will be the changes in the expectations of HR
but
panel regarding the skills?
this one I was going to
I
ask.
would like to, yeah, this is a very good question, like mainly for a fresher. So see, soft skills, I would say definitely, soft skill is one thing which is required across all the functions and all the, even if you are an engineer, the companies will expect you to be bold enough to present yourself and confident enough to put your point of view on the table, and also um, attentive enough that you are understanding whatever discussions are happening and what people are talking about. So that, I think, soft skill I'll not cover. For technical, I'll come to the point very quickly. The one is, okay, see, you might hear from people, okay, you learn this software, and this will help you a lot. My brother or my friend's brother and these people, उसने ये किया था और उनका बहुत अच्छा job लग गया. So first of all, ignore such softwares at all. You do not need such softwares. The reason is, every company have their customized functions, customized softwares or customized portals, online portals. So whenever you will enter any new industry, even if you are 10 to 15 years old, they will teach you those things, which are strictly specific to their organization. So your major focus should be on learning the MS Office. You should be able to excel yourself in Excel. Like, you should be very good in Excel. You should understand. You should start working on Excel. You should know how to move from from good Excel. You can move to advanced Excel also. Once you start learning basic Excel requirements, you might elevate yourself towards advanced Excel. You should be very good in document writing. This is a very important part in industries right now. I was not able to cover this part. So basically, in today's world, most of the industries do not prefer presentations. So presentations are like are ambiguous things. They do not shed light on things. In Amazon, we do not have a culture of presentation. We have a culture of paper presentation. If I want to put any point of view, I want to propose any kind of new process, I would be asked by my manager or my management team, go ahead, write a paper, a 2-pager, a 6-pager, and submit it. So improve your writing skills in those writing skills in these terms. You should be able to uh, very beautifully articulate things, and not the articulation not just in the language as well as in the paper presentation. You should be able to cover all the aspects. Your language selection should, your word selection should be very crisp. It should not divert you from the topic. So these skills are very much required. And yes, MS Office is one area of opportunity. If I am an interviewer, I'll definitely have a more lean attitude towards a girl or boy who has a good hand in Excel, who has a good hand in MS Office. So this is irrespective of department. This is a very important skill which we people should have. There are right now, you people are sitting at your home. There are a number of online classes which are going on these things. You can definitely like start working on these and boost your skills.
Very well said, Salman. Thank you for your suggestions. Indeed, our students are noting right down. Farhan bhai, up to you next. There is one question. What do you think are some of the essential qualities that a successful HR person should have? Farhan bhai, are you getting me? Yes, Farhan bhai. Am I audible to you? Okay, I think there's some connection problem. Farhan bhai. Uh, okay. Meanwhile, I would like to take this question to Urvashi. Yeah, Urvashi. There's one question. What do you think are some of the essential qualities that a successful HR person should have? Up to you, Urvashi.
Okay, I think two, three qualities are for a successful HR being an organization. First of all, our HR needs to be very closely connected to his or her business. What kind of business organization is handling, right? So he or she needs to understand what kind of business one organization is handling. So I think if HR closely connected to that business, then only he understand the roots of the then only he or she understand the roots of the business, right? Second, so HR needs to be very focused and very knowledgeable about the each policy, procedures, norms to be following at the organization, because because he or she would be the showstopper, right? He or she is the single point of contact for internal or the external client, right? Third, if I would say, like HR needs to be act as an independent advisor for the employees in the tough situations. He needs to understand. He needs to understand the root cause analysis of the situation, and and in a way he or she has to react to the things happened at the organization. I think these three uh, must be the part of one's good HR personality needs to be have.
Thank you very much, Urvashi. I think, Popel, you must have got the answer. Now, Farhan bhai.
Am I audible now? Hello?
Yeah, Farhan bhai, you're audible. I would like this to take you. I would like you to take this next question. This question is: what domains of HR require you to have knowledge of the labor laws, or is it a significant part of human resource as a whole?
Well, just to add what Urvashi and Salman had been saying, I believe labor laws are very much relevant, very much important. So one should be very well conversant with Factories Act and Shops and Establishment Act. These are the very basic tenets of labor laws, which one should be very much familiar with. Right, though not in all organizations. Say, for example, if I am the commercial HRBP for two businesses of Schneider, I don't dwell into labor laws on a day-to-day basis. But if I am into more of a IR HR kind of function, it would be my bread and butter to be very well conversant with the labor law. So it is extremely important. So my recommendation is don't dwell so much deep into it as if you are a legal person, but you should be having a well crisp understanding of what law, what legality, what terms and guidelines are to be followed for each of the industry, which comes in from the labor law. So as I said, labor laws, people should be very well conversant with both these acts, should get themselves updated with both these acts. And these acts are also state specific. So for example, in the state of Tamil Nadu, there would be few tweaks and changes which would be there for the Shops and Establishment Act, which is usually applicable on commercial and IT organizations. So it is very much needed. In addition to what Urvashi has mentioned regarding the previous question in terms of what is the expectation from the candidate, from the employer about the candidates, two things I believe play a very important role. One is being logical. The second one is being analytical, right? So logic and analytics, though it can be interrelated, they are interrelated. It cannot be that a person, be it any professional, not being a HR, be it any professional in corporate, one should be very logical, one should be rational, and one should be analytical. So you should be able to justify or back your arguments with quantitative numbers, figures, and facts. That remains an extremely important thing. For a HR professional, the other additional part is that you should be very good with stakeholder management. You should be very well conversant with the labor laws, and also you should be able to empathize with people a lot. You cannot be a stooge of the management, or you cannot just be advocate of the employees. So you have to do the fine balancing act, and this you learn on the floor, on the ground, over a period of time. You cannot prepare for everything, but at least you can start learning being logical and analytical both. That will be a really helpful thing for any candidate in any of the stream.
Thank you very much, Farhan Bhai, for this broad answer. Before moving further, I would like, as our respected Dean Sir is with us in this meeting, I would like him to say a few words, then we'll continue. He is observing
Uh,
for quite a time.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Sir.
Thank you, Sam, for giving me the opportunity to interact with Fran, Salman, and Vashi, and of course the students. I'm really thankful. I enjoyed the discussion. I had been through and through, except a few minutes due to connectivity issue, and really it was a very eye-opener interaction. I'm sure that the students would be immensely benefited. I mean, the way they discussed things, it was on a very practical aspects. And to address some of the questions, I would like to mention a few things. As I see certain things, perhaps the first thing that I would like to flag here, and off and on it has been referred by some of the panelists as well. Actually, I strongly believe that when you are looking for a job, I strongly feel that try to match up with your the job design and the type of job which is on offer vis-a-vis your skill. That is very important, and of course your temperament. That depends. If you have an orientation towards the legal system, then go for that and hone your skills. If you are better in analytics, I think having an edge on Excel would be a very good idea, because when you are entering, try to hone at least one of the skills which is called for, and mention it with full confidence to the panelists. I believe that this COVID is a situation where you may get into depression, but you can also take it as an opportunity. Why I'm saying this is that it depends on your attitude. If you have a negative attitude, naturally we get into depression. But if you take it as a positive opportunity, on a positive side, the point is, as Salman has rightly said, that they are actually trying to kick out some of the inefficiencies from the industry. And when somebody is leaving the space, that space remains. And if you can prove otherwise that you have the ability and you have the guts and you have the skill set into you, then I'm sure that you can fill in that gap, maybe with a gap of 2 or 4 or 6 months, as the case may be. But the point is, See, the industry is heading towards finer allocation of resources. And this industry must be taking it as an opportunity to weed out the inefficient stuff from the organization. And that is one point which need to be noted and you really need to build up. Second thing I would like to flag here is that somebody has asked, there are 2-3 questions on work from home. I think the most vital thing is that you have to be consistent and honest, I believe. Working from home is something which actually enables you to work any time of the day you feel like. I mean, the way your faculties are working on this Sunday. I'm not boasting, but the fact is that it could have been ignored. But the faculty decided, no, let us do it. And it is for the convenience of the industry people, because they may not have enough time on the working days. And that is why they adjusted. So this consistency is the most required ability that perhaps you need to work from home. You have to be honest in your place first. I stand to be corrected by the panelists, no issues, most welcome. But just off the hand, I thought these things. But and the last thing that I would like to address here is that perhaps whatever time you are, I mean, this passing time, where you must show that you have done something beyond washing your hands only. So that is extremely important. We need to build up and some course, some ability, some skill development could have been looked at by the students, because I feel that this 2-3 months, the faculty at the Department of Commerce has tried to enhance their skills, to work online, to talk to you, to organize certain things given the scenario. So these are different possibilities that we have tried for. I don't know how far we had been successful. But of course, the visit of Farhan, Salman, Urvashi is one of the indicators to show that, yes, at least partially we had succeeded in some of the activities. And accordingly, you have to build up, do take up some skill program, do take up some online courses, some certification, something. Go beyond your routine syllabus. Try to show the industry and the panelists that yes, you mean business, you are doing something extra, something. I mean, you have created opportunity out of a scarcity. This is what I strongly feel. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I have taken too long.
So it was pleasure listening to you. It always have been.
So, sir, just to add, I believe you have raised very relevant points in terms of what the students are supposed to do. So, I would say not only students, as an employee in the past 3 months, though it came in not only as a mandate from the leadership, but it was expected from all the employees across our organization, is that people should be spending a minimum 10 to 15 hours every month on learning and reskilling themselves. So for even for a HR, there were multiple courses assigned to us and we had to undergo it, right? So it was not meant only towards aiming of completing the minimum mandated learning hours, but to upskill ourselves, because we have to be productive, we have to learn. If we have time, we have to invest in ourselves, and that remains very, very important. Lastly, regarding working from home, if people are really interested, I would say that it is not so easy. We keep getting the feedback from the employees that they are just dying to come back to office. People are just not willing to continue working from home. They have just got so bored while working from home that every second person is saying, even if somebody is staying in Noida and has to travel to Gurgaon, they are saying, I'm willing to come to office. I cannot any further.
That's very true.
Can be once or twice in a week, but not.
Even we feel like to go to the office in any case.
And for obvious reasons. And for obvious reasons, people who are married or people who are even bachelors, they have their own good reasons to come and commute to office and work from there.
That's very true. But I think for HR, empathy and attitude is the most vital thing. As Farhan mentioned, that empathy and I mean, these are the things that an HR person need to have, and you cannot go ahead without this. And the panelist expectation the change in the panelist expectation would be reflected in these terms. And I strongly believe that skill set requirement is one of the basic requirements. You must have some competence in some skill and you have to show it before the interviewing panel.
True. So I remember, just to add, I remember one very famous thing the CEO of Genpact, he used to say about the concept of T, right? So on the horizontal line which you have in the T, it is your understanding or knowledge of various concepts of management or business and everything. But the line which is vertical, which goes deep down, is your core skill set. So you need to have the combination of this perfect T, right? So you have a bit of understanding, you are jack of all trades on all the aspects of the horizontal line, but the vertical line is that in-depth knowledge of your
That's very
particular craft and skill we need to have to make yourself a successful professional.
perfect. That's very true. I mean,
Okay, sir. So there are a few more questions. I think we should take up now. So you have answered these work from home questions. Yeah, Salman, now this is up to you. There's a question. Is ER similar to IR? I think it must be a narrow concept with respect to IR, isn't it? Yes, Salman.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing. You need not go into such technicalities as Farhan by rightly said. Yes, ER, IR are kind of mirroring concepts. There are some detailings with both, but yes, as a fresher you need not go into so much details. You should have a good knowledge of these things, and that would work for you in the interviews. So my intent is to tell you guys more from the interview perspective, since people will be mostly entering for your interviews after this session.
Okay, Urvashi, next. What are the challenges that we as an HR are going to face in the post-COVID era? Urvashi, you there? I think
I
she's
think
not,
he
she's not
she
I
connected.
think the
she
next
is
question is very
she
important by Adil.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, even I was tempted to ask this question.
Yes, sir.
Can you suggest each one of you one or two points that you think you could have covered while studying and pursuing your courses before going to the market? Now, once you are in the market, you must be having some perception that this. I mean, had you have done something of this kind, some skill or something while you were studying, it could have helped you.
yes.
Because that would help
So
us
honestly,
to
sir,
work on synopsis.
yeah. So honestly, I always used to think if I would have studied sincerely, first of all, during my
Okay,
studies.
that's one.
So,
So
so sir, just to answer,
yeah, Farhan.
yes. So I believe I thought always used to think myself of a very sincere student, but when I reached in the job market, when I competed with a lot of guys, I certainly during my MBA itself I realized that what I lacked. Right. So I had in my class, in my college itself, close to around 92-93% were engineers, and they were from RECs, from couple of them from NITs and from other good engineering colleges. And I always used to compare myself in terms of the analytical thought process, which I always used to lack as compared to them. I always used to think I am a commerce student, I am good in basic concepts of accounting, advanced concept of accounting. But when I saw that these people being an engineer, they grasped within 6 months the basics of accounting and they moved on to the financial accounting aspects itself. I then realized that I should have spent more time in honing my skills pertaining to finance, pertaining to accounting, which I did not during my college days, because I never thought that I would be competing with so many guys. I always used to think if I've done a question well, I'm able to solve all the problems, I'm scoring well, that is good enough. But if you go into the job market, then you realize how cutthroat the competition is. So you should always try to improve and better upon yourself. If you are good at something, don't get satisfied. Try to scale up. Always try to scale up yourself.
I think that's a very fantastic observation by Farhan. Students must note that it is not the fellow colleagues that you will be competing with, but the world is much bigger and tougher. That's a very, very significant observation. So you have to work hard and especially work on your analytical skills.
So there's one more question, sir. I think it's the last one. Urvashi, are you there? I would like to take this question. Yeah.
Yeah,
As,
yeah, I'm there. Yeah. Tell
okay.
me.
So as we all know, employee engagement is a crucial job of an HR. So my question is, how much is it difficult for an HR to engage each and every employee working in the organization?
So, I would like to give in two lines, and it would be the easiest answer I would give. And if I talk about employee engagement, yeah, it's we when we read about employee engagement, yeah, we thought that it's a very simple term, but I think it's not a big challenge to engage the associates. It's to engage the employees of the organization. It's all depend upon the approach, what kind of approach you are using in engaging the employee of that organization, right? I think we should have that right approach, good plans, or good communication. I think that would lead success to the good employee engagement in any of the organization.
Thank you very much, Urvashi. There's one more. How far interviewers value online certificates regarding skills like MS Excel or similar things obtained via online platform like Shaw Academy, etc. Salman, this one is for you. There, Salman?
Yes, how far
Yes.
interviewers value online certificates.
Important
So,
question.
Shanawaz, basically, it's not about value, it's about your capability. So, while you gain that skill, and suppose you are sitting in front of me and you are telling me, I have this skill, I have learned, I have this course from certain organization, definitely I'm going to ask you some questions which would satisfy my thought, okay, this guy has actually learned it. So it's mostly about your skills and capability rather than valuing online certificates. It could be for some specific jobs, it could be if those jobs require such kind of certifications. But in general, it's not important like from a value, more important from terms of your learning and your capability, how able you are able to grasp it, even if you are doing it from any XYZ university or an XYZ academy.
So just to add what
Rather, when you are
Salman,
presenting a certificate, you are inviting a talk on this. Anything that you are presenting, you have to defend it. That is extremely important, and you should be cautious of this. Because when you are saying you have earned this certificate, you will have to prove that you have learned also simultaneously.
right. So just to add what Mr. Salman has said, I believe writing on your CV that you have a certificate in a certain course and spending on it, it is even better that you write it without mentioning that you have a certificate, just mentioning that you have this skill set. It doesn't matter if you are paid for it or not. A skill set being mentioned and having that skill set, being able to answer it, that is sufficient. So showing a certificate, a hard copy, it doesn't matter nowadays. It is more about the skill which you are having.
So I think, sir, there is one last question I would like to ask all the panelists. Their version of it. The question is, what is?
So Saim, just before you move on to the next question,
Yeah.
what Imran sir said. So Shanawaz, the same logic applies here, which we use for our vivas. You know, na, कि when we go to the viva, we tend to tell that we will only speak about this topic because we have only studied this. We will not mention any other topic. So same logic applies in the interviews. You should not boast about something which you do not know.
So,
Thank you, Salman. So this is the question to all the three panelists. What is the most challenging aspect of working from home? Your perspective, Farhan bhai. I would like to start with you.
Well, the most challenging aspect for a person who has people who in the household, it is getting yourself ready for the day, because you are till the time you are not dressed up, till the time you are not commuting to office, that phase of starting the work doesn't start, right? So because you are not in your formals, your approach always remains slightly backseated, that you have to attend a call, you can sit on your bed, you can take up a call. That is one. Secondly, what I have started experiencing, because I am doing it myself, that I have started to create an office corner for myself in my room, right? And being on video call many a times, it makes you much more attentive, it makes you much more focused if you are working from home. The best part about working from home, especially in cities like that of all the metro cities, bigger cities, is that you are saving a lot of time in not commuting to office. You are able to spend a lot of time with your family. The bad aspect, as I said, as I mentioned earlier, is that the focus many times I'm finding, for myself initially I was finding, and now for my employees I'm finding, that many times the focus is lost, the sincerity is just not there. So you have to many times remind the people, you have to assign them tasks. And but I believe these are the things which people have started to work upon. These are the things in this business is focusing a lot. So they have fixed up mandates that if a meeting has to happen, it has to happen on a video call. It cannot be on a just telecon, so that people are ready to present, people are willing to talk and strategize and everything. So but things are improving. So it is not something that things are really bad for work from home, but things are gradually improving, and that is going to be the way forward for all of us.
Okay, Salman, next I would like to listen from you. Answer for this. What is the most challenging aspect of working from home for you?
So Saim bhai, so fortunately, I like to tell you that I am not working from home anymore. I have I've joined my organization. It's 3 weeks also I've spent there. But yes, the most challenging aspect is ki you, so like for my role or roles which require your presence on the ground. So you kind of loses that connect from the floor where the actual work is happening. And you are mostly dependent on the secondary information which you are getting from the people or person who's present there. So that becomes more challenging. You have to apply your logic. You have to more apply your logic there. You have to think more about certain things. And before taking any decision, you have to cross verify more and more so that you should not, uh, any decision could not go wrong. So in that way, I think work from home makes you away from the real connect from the floor, from the company, from the work. And also it is very exhaustive. People think you are 24/7 available. They call you day, night, without seeing anything, without recognizing anything. So even they don't, in office, people usually respect, okay, this is the lunch time, you should not call. But if you're working from home, they will not think even of right 12 o'clock in the night. That's also a very important thing.
Okay, thank you, Salman. Next, Urvashi, the same question for you. What's your...
If I am I audible?
Yeah, you're completely audible.
So if I talk about this question now, so from last 3 months, I'm in Lucknow only. I even didn't visit to Aligarh. So I'm just as Salman mentioned that working in operations, it's being really difficult from working at home. You have to apply the logics. You lost your connections with, shop floor team. You have to be very active while taking any decisions. So these are some challenges, but I think what I faced is things get little bit disorganized. Now, like from last 3 weeks, I have also started visiting my church center. So like slowly things are getting organized. I'm start taking the regular breaks. And what that social interaction, if I talk about that was actually lost while working at home. So that is also I'm going through. I'm connecting with my associates, I'm connecting with my team again. So I think it's really difficult to work from home while you are working in the operations, because actually this really needs more it actually requires more activeness. Operation roles require more activeness, how active you are how active you are with your team and with your labor management. So that is a challenge I faced. So but now it's all recovered because it's like we people are visiting our SOT centers. So actually it's a big challenge to work from home. It's really good to be at site, really good to meet the people, and really good to make that connections all over, all again. Yeah.
Sam, can I just mention one thing here? No. Can I?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. See, I think work from home is an issue which is pertinent to the HR himself as well as for the organization. I don't know. I'll expect an endorsement from Farhan and Salman and Urvashi that possibly you must be having a role as an HR person to decide that who is to work from home and who is to come to the office, because whole of the office will not be going to the home. I strongly feel, as I see it, as I visualize, I don't have practical experience, but as I visualize that work from home is a better suited strategy which has to be skill oriented. There are certain jobs, there are certain skills where the performance could be as good as in the office from the home, like accounting things. It can be done from home. But HR has to have the nerve of the organization, has to be there on the floor, I believe, to be more effective, at least occasionally, if not all the time. So therefore, it depends on the type of, the nature of the job that you are doing, the nature of the responsibilities that you are addressing to in the organization, which would actually affect ultimately in the long run the system of work from home. I strongly feel that it is going to help to build up the skills while working from home. It may sharpen the skills, in fact,
So, sir,
because
just to add, sorry.
just I'm concluding, because tracking online is sometimes very effective, but simultaneously when it comes to competence development, which is a larger concept when compared to skills, I believe that competence would be adversely affected if most of the organization will be working home, because there is a lot of fearful spending while working in the organization. Yes, over to Farhan, please.
That's true. So, sir, completely agree. I believe the way we shortlisted the people who would be working from home were very much limited to a core skill set of people who are doing offer management for our business, people who were into operations, people who were into analytical kind of role, all PMO kind of role. So more of people who were into technology driven roles, right, in which the requirement was just a system and they could work. These are the people who would be continuing to work from home for us. So if I talk about HR, say for example, HRSS, HR support function, rewards, these can be the particular people in HR stream or sometimes talent acquisition that they can possibly work from home. Certainly not possible for HRBP to continually long working from home. Certainly not possible for a talent management guy or a learning and development person, or even for long-term or talent acquisition person, even for a long term is not possible to work from home. So these are the things which are in a much more of a evolving phase. And it varies industry to industry. Had it been an IT industry, I believe 95% of the people can possibly work from home, or 90% can work from home, but it is not industry-wide possible.
That's very true. Yes, Sam. I think most of the questions have been answered.
Yes, sir,
How
all the
long are you going to grill?
Okay, sir. I think we should now close the house and end up the meeting.
I'm really thankful to Farhan and Salman, and it was good to see you and grown so big. Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you with higher positions. And Urvashi, I'm thankful that you joined us. I hope and wish that you continue to advise the department, and as we are trying to look out for newer possibilities and we are trying to associate with the alumnus, of course, we are looking back at. I hope that you would love to nurture your own place, inshallah. So I wish you a good luck, and I expect a lot of sustained relationship with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, the panelists. Thank you, all those students. And thank you, Dr. Ajmal, for being with me in this whole
Thank you, all of
session.
you. Thank you, Sam bhai.
With this, we are coming to an end, and I'm calling it a close. And hope to meet you soon in the future, all of you. And all the best
Thank you.
to the
Thanks a lot.
students.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Allah Hafiz.